If you find yourself overthinking in bed and therefore experience poor night's sleep night after night, then make sure you watch this video until the end. Overthinking is the #1 symptom that can cause sleep disruption. I say symptom rather than cause because there is usually an underlying reason or root cause for you experiencing this in the first place, which I'll go into the methods of tackling this head on in another video. But for now, I'm going to give some advice as to how to deal with it in the moment, because ultimately it's important that you have a strategy to deal with your thoughts when you're tossing and turning at night, getting frustrated with looping thoughts and edging on the temptation to get up and sit in front of the TV or your phone to distract you of your racing mind. Here's one of the simple but highly effective strategies that I often use with my one-to-one clients to help banish overthinking, overwhelm, and improve their sleep consistency. The first step in overcoming overthinking is to actually get up out of bed there and then and take yourself into a dimly lit room. Don't switch on the main lights, as you'll certainly impact the melatonin levels that should be circulating your bloodstream to help you get back to sleep and stay asleep. Sit at a table with a piece of paper and a pen and empty your mind by writing down your thoughts. Pen and paper is crucial during this exercise as it'll help slow down your thinking and shift the blood supply from the more emotional and irrational part of the brain to the more logical and rational part of the brain. It'll also mean that you don't sit with your phone 15 inches in front of your face. Now, you can call this a brain dump if you like. It doesn't matter whether what you write down is positive, negative, neutral, just empty your thoughts into concise bullet points on paper. Once you have these thoughts on paper, read them back to yourself, out loud, preferably if you can. Usually it'll result in you realizing how irrational your thoughts actually are. They're often worries and concerns about the what ifs, things that haven't happened yet or may never happen at all. Now, if that alone is not enough, then ask yourself this question. If my twin or my clone had the same thoughts as me right now, the same worries as me right now, what advice would I give to them? Think about it and answer it, and try and answer it in as detailed a response as you can. It usually is easier for an outsider to provide you with more rational and logical advice. The problem is when it comes from someone else, it's not usually received correctly. It's typically what you need to hear rather than what you want to hear. Now, if you can try to play the role of that outsider yourself, then you may be able to rationalize your own thoughts and thinking more effectively. Now, the next step is to make a list of 3 to 5 things that you need to do the following day. In an ideal world, you should have already created your to-do list as part of your bedtime routine. But if you haven't, get it done now. Your brain is great for forging ideas and building plans, but it's incredibly poor at retaining information. Now, quoting David Allen, your brain is great for having ideas, not holding them. In other words, your brain is great at making plans and being strategic, but not so good at retaining that information. And trying to do so can lead to confusion, overwhelm, and stress. By writing down your thoughts, it becomes easier to organize them and make sense of things. If you have a ton of information circulating your brain, particularly when you're in bed with fewer distractions occurring in your environment, then it's likely you experience anxiety and overwhelm. The thinking that occurs as a byproduct of an active racing mind often involves you catastrophizing a situation or looking to focus on the worst case scenario, which, let's face it, may again never happen, as I said before. Writing down these thoughts can help you make sense of things and ease anxious feelings by slowing down your thinking, giving you a fly on the wall view to help you ultimately put things into perspective. Ideally, you should make this a non-negotiable part of your bedtime routine. But if you find yourself struggling to get to sleep or you wake up with an active mind in the middle of the night, then as I say, get up, get your thoughts down on paper, put them into perspective, write a brief to-do list, and go back to bed in a more rational headspace with a greater sense of clarity and calmness. Now, if you like this sort of content, if this video has helped you, if it's given you something to think about, something that you can relate to, then please do give it a like. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel and you hit the notification bell so you're notified of the next release.